Everybody, and welcome back to the Kingdom of Poland. It is EU5, of course. It is June the 8th, 1348. We did just take some territory of Kelbo from the Teutonic Order. We are trying to work our professional army back down to the capital of Krakow. Now that they're back into our territory. Of course, we are still doing with the Black Death, right? Where we have lost 37,500 people, or we're losing 37,500 people. Constantly, we are building a second hospital here in Poznan. We built one in the capital itself. Locations are depopulating with the plague, right? We are missing a lot of workers. Nobody is available for promotion in several counties now. We do have an underage heir, which we can just dismiss that. The latest truce with the Teutonic Order will expire in 1352. We have unused trade capacity, which we can try to use. Children can have better education. Rebel movements, the Reparian, Franconian Patriots, Eastphalian Patriots, Shopso Insurgents, Prussian Patriots, Rhine Franconian Patriots, and Low Franconian Patriots. None of them are particularly strong. We are missing a bunch of goods still. Books are being missed on the Krakow market. We're going to go here to Markfod. We'll try to improve their opinion as well. So all of our vassals, we are now trying to improve their opinion of us. Obviously, the plague is very much negatively affecting us, just like everybody else in the European world and even the Near East. You can see Bulgaria is being occupied by the Kingdom of Hungary. Byzantine Empire is getting occupied by the Ottomans. We are making 8.16 ducats monthly right now, even during the plague, despite the population shortages and coming off of the war, albeit a successful war. We are now to 7.87. Oh, now we're up to 8.37. Yeah, we know about the truce. Negative 63,000. Good Lord. Like, we're purchasing medicaments. We do have both cities that we control directly in Poland. We are building hospitals we built a hospital, and then we are trying to build another one. We know that we are depopulating. I think most of Europe is depopulating at the moment, so I was very curious to come in and see how long the plague was going to last here in the game. Again, missing a lot of employees. Just in the RGOs and in the buildings. Again, because people are dying, obviously, from the plague. We are very, very close here in Rawa at 143.75 of being able to annex them. We are building another spy network in the Teutonic Order. Probably trying to take this area here, because we are trying eventually to get to the Baltic. The disease affecting our country, you can see we have lost 241,000 deaths. 240, so almost 250,000 people to the Black Death, or to the bubonic plague right now. The minimum population of Poland has been 1.1 million. We got up to 1.4 million, but we are currently down to 1.35. And if you look at the Black Death worldwide, start date was April the 1st, 1346, 8.76 million. Golden Horde still has lost the vast majority, not over 960,000. The Sultanate of Egypt, 500,000. Naples, 500,000. Kingdom of Hungary almost is starting to approach 500,000 as well. Kyiv has lost just over 250,000. We are just under 250,000. So despite our attempts, and we have this hospital in Poznan will finish on the January 23rd, 1349, down to 7.08 ducats. Now 7.09 because again, we're missing people, we're missing employees, we're missing RGO workers. Obviously, the hospital is going to be costing money because buildings cost money. Negative 138,000. Goodness, like I don't think there's much else we can do. Like we've already built two hospitals. Well, we have one hospital built. We're building a second, right? Um, we can try to control the food market. We already have the procuring remedies. We can move the court into hiding. I don't know if I want to do that. Cost stability. If we control the food market, we would. In these trying times, our biggest priority is ensuring the supply of grain and other foodstuff, forbidding its export, isolating the country. Yes, trade is bringing it in, but I don't know if that would really work. Sponsoring mass forgiveness. The plague is a punishment from God for the sins of the people. We can fight it by organizing mass church services all around the country and encouraging the populace to cleanse themselves from the strain of sin or present scapegoats. Religious minorities in our country are the ones to blame for our struggle. I mean, historically, unfortunately, this is the way that people went. I am known as the peasant king, so I feel like mass forgiveness would be something we would probably do. Paid for clerical services until the end of the game, scaled by 2.25, income is 21.51. Not everybody gets affected equally by the sickness. Those that are spared enough to be the ones that this disease set upon our people. The religious minorities in our country are the ones to blame for the struggle. We would gain 7 stability. The conflict fades. Schlacht and Schlopster alike are currently waging a war of culture with the best behavior to ward off the plague. Some lock themselves away at home, eating little, praying much, hoping that the austerity will save them. Others break into abandoned houses and drink like the plague will take them tomorrow and indulge in it until sunrise. We do not know if either of these behaviors will actually alleviate the plague, but supporting one of them might prove beneficial for the state. Right? So the peasants would become happier by 10%, but the plague would also increase by 10% because clearly going out and having basically orgies and raves is not an effective way of controlling the spread of disease, which is hard enough even in the best of circumstances at times. So we'll try to become austere, austerity movement for 5 years. We lose 2.5 stability. But we are trying to become a little bit of a religious zealot, although not quite to the level of like the Teutonic Order. Down to 5.23 ducat. Man, we are just. And I do like it though. But I do like it because the plague obviously killed millions and millions of people. Incredibly realistic. The devastation it's wrecking. But also, because of all of that, the economies really were shattered. So I do appreciate the realism there. Obviously, I would like to keep making more money than this, but and of course the buildings and everything else costs money. We're short the workers. It makes all the sense in the world. I was enjoying making the 11 or 12 ducats a month, which is not like a massive amount or anything like that, but it did help. So I do think, though, we are going to go in and say, what are the requirements for this? We do not. So we do. So because we have procure remedies, we can't segregate the infected. The many remedies and concoctions preached by the healers and other swindlers as miraculous and infallible have proven ineffective and even dangerous. So we are going to repeal that. If we segregate the... What the heck just happened? Why did we just lose all the stability? Okay. We are going to sponsor mass forgiveness because we get 12 stability. And then we're also going to segregate the infected. The plague is running free in our country. We will bear on the sick from leaving their houses and stop the spread of the sickness. So we are down to 7 stability now. Thankfully, it is going up just tiny bit. We have truces expiring soon. Saffron from Dubrovnik to Krakow is getting outcompeted by Ragusa. Down to 2.7 ducats. I mean, to be fair, we have no market automation. We're going to try to do it ourselves. Krakow to Prague, if we import them, 1.5. Okay, show Elon, while our strong emphasis on offensive gives our country's army a feeling of strength because attack is always the best form of defense. Our men charge fearlessly into battle knowing that victory will be theirs. If we import jewelry, 1 point would take 1 trade capacity, 3.7 for ducats, and 1 point. Do we really need that much jewelry? I don't think we need that much jewelry. Okay, so gems we actually do need a lot of. Negative 2.3. Oh, wait. 2.73. So they actually have less gems in the crack. They were going to give us more gems than what we needed. What do our people need? Fine cloth, rice, fish, saffron. They do need books. We need paper. We have a need of. Okay, so we could get some paper from Budapest or Pest. Beer, I think we're going to try to produce our own. What's this? Books we'll take. So we have paper and books coming in. And we have 1.36 trade capacity left. Imports for profit. And then we will take jewelry as well. So we have 0.36 remaining. What is this? Marble. Right, dyes to Praha. But we don't really have a lot of that. Okay, salt we have a lot of though. 50, yeah. So we will export salt. So we have used up our trade capacity now. We're down to 1.05 billion. We're trying to isolate the sick because the remedies didn't work. We've built hospitals. We sponsored mass forgiveness. I mean, again, this is historically accurate, but oh my goodness, this is just kicking my butt here. In a weird way, like I said, I appreciate it because of the historical accuracy. We are now losing 10 manpower a month. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Um, I don't really know what else we can do. We don't have enough stability to really do much. Casimir is now 38. His eldest son, Crown Prince Władysław, is 9. His youngest son, Simuwet, is 7. He still has his 2 daughters. Um, yeah, like, again, I just don't know what else there really is for us to try to do to control the spread even more. Should have built a hospital sooner. That's fair. That's my fault. We're up to 145 in Rawa, in their opinion of us. So, again, Chancellor reports Ilias Quisi Pro Divini. I'm not sure what that means. Antagonism received negative 20%. Okay, that's what that means. Yeah, negative 37.3 thousand. So we're losing a little bit less people. Negative 1.68 ducats monthly. God, we have lost like 11, 10 to 11, maybe even 12 ducats a month are gone right now. Now, I don't know how some of that is probably, losing people during the war. But most of it, I would imagine, is because of just the massive depopulation that has gone on with the plague. Which, while appreciative of the accuracy of the game and the fact that it's part of the game, man, I'm so happy with my little kingdom of Poland. Right? I felt we were in a really good place, making some nice progress. Policy has been enacted. The Polish Union has established seniority, and all opponents of the resolution lose 15% estate satisfaction. The poor people, the Schlapsto, are actually gaining opinion of me. The hospital is going to be built within a month now here in Posen, so hopefully that helps a little bit. I mean, obviously the hospital in Krakow has not helped a great deal, so. But again, historically accurate, as frustrating as it is. We are up to 10 on the spy network of the Teutonic Order. And well, one, I can't really afford too many buildings with 177 ducats. But number two, while other countries like, Bohemia is obviously building a lot, the bad draft, the fear of catching the plague while serving a sick nobleman is too great for the lower classes to handle, no matter how much the wages may be raised. The Schlacht are now demanding the right to draft their Schlapsto into service, forcing them to risk illness in order to tend to their needs. We lose 7 stability if we do that. Clean your own properties, we will lose 5 legitimacy. Yeah, clean your own yeah. Okay, so jewelry in the Praha market is being outcompeted. So the Schlapsto did lose estate satisfaction, but we don't have that would have put us at 1 stability. Which still would have been positive, yes. Still would have been positive. But given that I don't know that we're not going to have a disaster or something take place, really didn't seem great. We're only at 8 right now, so we're kind of in that we're still in the danger zone. We had more legitimacy to lose than we had stability. So that's why and again, he is known as the peasant king. If we had a different ruler, a different choice, maybe it would have made sense. But as the peasant king, his reforms, to some degree, make sense to try to help out the peasantry. So we're about a week away now from the second hospital being built. That will be a good thing. Negative 58,000 people were lost that month, so we're under 1 billion. Overall population now for Poland, which is the lowest we've ever been. Yeah, at this rate, we're going to get even lower. That is, I tell you. Man, oh man. Well, this will now get done on the 30th of January. Well, I don't know if it's going to get done because the date keeps getting pushed back. It was the 23rd, then it was the 30th, now it's the 31st. So, okay, it finally got built. Again, we don't really have the workers, we don't have the books, we don't have really anything. But hopefully having 2 hospitals as we are gaining a little bit of manpower. Now, this is the least amount of people we've lost in a very long time. 19,000. So hopefully that means here in 1349, the plague may finally be somewhat coming to an end, as we have lost 592,000, which, wow, you can see the different disease resistance in the location. Bubonic plague, great pestilence, influenza disease, measles. 14% presence here in that place, 62% resistance. Here we have 99%. 99. Wait, what? What does that mean? 99%. I mean, I know what 99% means, but I'm trying to. I mean, that's insane. 608,000 people of our people have now died. We had 1.4 million. That's half of our country. That is almost half of our country. 31 million people have died worldwide, 1.9 in France, 1.7 in Castile, 1.58 in Hungary, 1.4 in Egypt, and 1.1 in the Golden Horde. Muscovy's only lost 156,000. Bohemia only 100,000. I mean, that is a lot of deaths. Don't get me wrong. Like, that is a lot of deaths. But comparatively, right, to the countries of Catholic Europe and Western, not just Catholic Europe, but Western and Central, and even obviously a little bit of Eastern Europe, that is not that bad. It's not good, but we've lost, again, 608,000. We used to have 1.4 million, so we've lost 500,000 people. So I guess, okay, it's not half, right? But 700,000 would be half of our population. So we're not too far away. Like, we are not too far away. We've lost somewhere between a third and a half, right? Uh, so our income is down to 1.01 a month. It's going to take us, I mean, I don't know exactly how long it'll take us um, to recover our population, but probably a while. Probably a while. Now, Rawa at 150.15, we can annex. The Princedom of Rawa, 102,000 people, which would put us up to a little bit over 1 million again, I guess, in the Kingdom of Poland. Which would help the tax base and the population base, of course, but it's just like, man, I don't know. Like, is that really worth it? I mean, of course, we are going to annex them. That's not what I mean by that. It's just like, until the plague ends, then that population, right? They're going to be losing people. We're losing people. It's a tiny bit of positivity in terms of the population, but not, super duper significant. We lost 15,000 people in March. Let's see how many people we're getting lost more manpower. 8 stability. We lost 10,000 people. So so maybe the worst of it is past. That would be very, very nice. So we're also going to keep trying to improve the relations with them, partially because when you annex the countries, of course, the other vassals decide to dislike you because you annex a vassal, and we lose opinion with them. And I'm not in a hurry to do that. We are down to 132 manpower, -2 a month. We're under 1 ducat a month, or ducat, as I like to call them. But yeah, it's just wild. Like, so historically, it was a devastating pandemic. According, and this is again just to Google. 12 ships from the Black Sea docked at the Sicilian port of Messina, spread rapidly for the port cities, causing the deaths of over 20 million people, about 1/3 of the population the following 5 years. So that would be 1352 or 1353. So that we have 4 more years of this. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. That is okay. I mean, just think though, like historically, what the people would have felt like, right? If I'm thinking, man, that is wild. 4 more years of this, the poor people who went through. Obviously, the unfortunate who got sick and died, the vast multitude that was. But even just even the people who survived, right? Clearly, it's better than to survive than not. But at the same time, um, watching everyone, or maybe not everyone, but the vast majority of the people you know and the people you love get sick and then suffer and then pass in a relatively short period of time, but to have that go on for half a decade. I mean, I've had a period of time in my own personal life where I've had, lost both parents, lost a beloved pet, I've lost a sister. grandparents, uncles, etc., some friends. And sometimes it's been, in like a 2 or 3 year period where there's, 4 or 5, passings. But and that's incredibly painful and difficult. But, if you said you had, if you knew 20 people and you had your family had 20 people in it, 10 were gone. Maybe 7, but 7 to 10 were gone, maybe even more if you were one of the lucky ones where everybody's gone. And, or, all but a couple are gone. I mean, I can't even imagine. Like, entire, right? I don't even, I can't even fathom. My brain can't process what that would be like. So, I do appreciate the game and its realism on that effect in terms of, the plague being a devastating thing where our entire kingdom is just kind of being wrecked. Thankfully, none of the royal family here has gotten sick yet. I would like to think that maybe we can avoid that. We do have 2 sons, so hopefully, even if the worst case scenario happened, where one of them and maybe even the king got it, the dynasty should continue. Unless we lost all 3, then that would obviously be different. Uh, we would have a regency, obviously, if the king were to get it into pass right now. But for the moment, that has not happened. So what we're going to do is we're going to get into June a little bit. It's been a couple years of game time. The plague scapegoats, the people are growing unwieldy, the trauma from losing so many loved ones, the fear of knowing they may be next, and the anger, the lack of causes and remedies are pushing them over the edge, even as far as shoving the blame on the shoulders of our Rhine Franconian subjects. There's no other way to put it. The kingdom is a powder keg ready for the smallest of sparks to set it off. It is hard to say if we have the strength to survive such an eventuality, but we could consider taking preemptive measures by redirecting the fear and anger against an oppressed minority in places such as Koal. We lose 6 stability. Or we can gain stability. So we would gain 6 stability. Lesser Polish culture will gain 10% pop satisfaction. Pops that follow the Rhine Franconian culture will lose 50%. And we will continue, and we will gain progress towards being spiritualists. If we refuse scapegoating, we will lose 6 stability. The Franconian culture will become 25% more happy, while the lesser Polish will lose 10%. And we'll go with humanist. I think we're going to have to do this. Right? I'm not thrilled with that. Going for the scapegoating, but historically accurate, unfortunately. And the extreme levels of our stability there was very worrying to me. We're not in a much better situation currently, but we are in a better situation. So I think we are, like I said, I think we are going to be calling this a wrap pretty soon. We've lost 637,000 people. We are at 1.62 ducats, so I guess the economy's a little bit better than it was at its lowest point. We're losing 8,000 people a month, which is a lot less than what it was originally. Stability's a little bit better. We are losing prestige. Our legitimacy is pretty good. Manpower, we're losing 0.0. We're at 9% of the traditional economy. We are still trying to increase control. We have the ability in Rawa to try to annex them. Here in Plok, we're kind of struggling. We're only at 110. Okay, so the statutes of King Casimir's third PS. Despite the end of the fragmentation period just a few short decades ago, large swaths of our land remain under the control of autonomous subjects and rogue governors. To reverse this dangerous status quo, the Council of their Advisors has been tasked with drafting our very first set of legal statutes in an attempt to reform our legislative framework and begin a process of centralization. The proposal contains articles that will impact all aspects of our society, such as litigation proceedings and criminal law. However, such a bold step to undermining local established rule will certainly prove difficult against the various entrenched estates. If they are in need, we will lose 58.28 ducats. They'll lose 50% satisfaction. 50% satisfaction. Currently, they're at 77%. If we don't upset them, 7 stability. 50% estate satisfaction. He is the peasant king, and centralization is the way to go. God Lord. Okay, so they're at 64%. Monthly change plus 0.2. I think I'm going to go for this. This might break the country, but we're going to go for this. Much like every other society, the Kingdom of Poland operates alongside the ever-growing influence of the powerful Szlachta, whose monetary military needs support for foreign expansion and to maintain eternal peace. Unfortunately for them, the drafted statutes under the guide of King Casimir III PS do include a bold shift towards the protection of the less favored groups and the establishment of new privileges for the Schlafsto at the expense of their masters. %14 estate satisfaction. We will only do what is absolutely necessary. Because we don't want to go to negative opinion. So we will barely increase the gain from these reforms, but it will increase the gain. And it also, right, it's so early in the game, it's probably not realistic to say, hey, we're going to make massive, massive improvements. So we're going to do this. We're going to only reform what is absolutely necessary. Plus, the country has had so much upheaval right now. We've had the Black Death. We've had a war. We'll go with that. Mills have been research mills have been used since they were first discovered in ancient times many centuries ago. However, we are now able to develop more modern and efficient wind and water mills for the use of gallery raw materials. Yes, the Szlachta, again, they are already rebellious. Improved relations plus 10%. Diplomatic gifts have been a constant since ancient times to give its foreign rulers on a certain matter by emphasizing their high status. Gifts could range from different luxurious objects to living animals such as giraffes or elephants. So we do have a rebellious estate now. But we are also trying to improve the power of the crown and get a little bit of centralization. I think with the estates, right, we are going to try to add a reform here. Noble patronage of the arts. Several prominent families within the nobility have taken to sponsoring poets, painters, and scholars at their courts and villas, while some may see this as vanity. Such patronage often gives rise to bold new schools of thought and expression, typically in exchange for more influence within the court. Artist salary, negative 10%, monthly progress, innovative, plus 10. Yeah. We'll give them that. Which gives us 12% satisfaction now, which is better than what it used to be. It's still not great. Children can have better I mean, sure, but they can have better education. But I mean, it's just a big problem. Obviously, the lack of loyalty now from the nobility is going to be a problem. But I do feel like we needed to try to do something. But that is, once we get to August, that is where we will end today's episode. Thank you, everybody, for your time today. I do greatly appreciate it. We'll try to continue to do better in the future. Take care, everyone, and I will talk to you all later.